Christ and the New World Order. But first, what we're going to look at today is mainly the New World Order that's supposed to happen when Pope Francis comes to the White House and whatnot. As we know, it's been spoken many times in 2008 and 2011 that the entire world should become under some kind of new government or some kind of central bank. And as we see that, we're seeing that, well, that we're all coming into this new kind of world, whether it's not. And in this new order, what we'll be seeing is pretty clearly all religion being one from what I've seen. But all religion, if the Pope would somehow reconcile with this, and he's a Catholic himself, that wouldn't really make sense, now would it? If all religion would be one and then driving the real religion, God and Jesus Christ, out of the equation, it really wouldn't be all religion, now would it? With that thought in mind, a lot of people have speculated that the end times, that possibly that Obama's going to bring the end times, and that Pope Francis is the false prophet. There's proof behind this, but I say that if aliens were to come down, let us baptize them. There's many speculation between aliens and what they really are. As we look back in the book of Enoch, that angels interbred, or fallen angels interbred with humans, getting these things to somewhat come out, as we would see giants and what we would call Nephilims. If you guys want to know more about Nephilims, I recommend you go over to Trey Smith and his channel and look him up on YouTube. And again, I'm not claiming any rights for his videos. He'll explain it a lot better than I do. Speaking of what aliens were, when the world comes to an end, obviously there's going to be fallen angels disguising themselves as aliens, coming down saying that we're going to save you, this and that, and it's obvious that it's not going to happen. But that's not my main that's one of the main concerns that we can look at. But the other concern that we can look at is, in fact, the end of the world. The super blood moon that we're going to have. People are saying that it's going to be the end of the world and that the sixth seal will be opened at that time. Of course, there's lots of proof behind that to support it. But we're not God. As he said, no man knoweth the day nor the hour. That's the main concern, is we can't really predict the end of the world. As from God's point of view, no one knows. Not his angels, probably not even his son himself. And with that said, I don't know. I want to give a shout out to Renee Moses, her YouTube channel, where she's prophesizing the end of the world. Okay, it's pretty obvious that her prophecies she's a false prophet. It's been proving that she is blaspheming God. Go to the satanic cult or satanic website, look up Renee Moses, she comes up. I'm pretty sure a YouTube channel covered this and how she's lying. Although I don't know about the other YouTube channels, they seem to be alright. But the blood moon that's supposed to be happening, all these blood moons have been popping up, are unpredicted. The only reason why people are saying that the world's going to end at this specific time, like September 30th or what have you, when the super blood moon happens. See, the moon's going to be at least 17 percent larger, 7% larger, what have you, than any normal blood moon. And this falls under a Jewish holiday. Well, we really can't say it's Jewish when it's in the Bible. Our people under Jesus Christ or God should perform this holiday, but they don't. There's lots of different translations in the Bible, English versions, I should say, that have been mistranslated, but I'll get into that another time. See, the reason why people are saying this is because it's the main fact that people are saying that there's not going to be another blood moon for 500, 400 years. Some are saying it's not going to happen in 300, 350 years, which, given those two dates or years, or three dates or years, that's going to be the next blood moon. So we're kind of saying that that's when the world's going to end. But then, if you look at some of the other YouTube channels and what they're saying, is that there will be stars falling out of the heavens. And there's been various videos of comets or asteroids or what have you falling out of the sky. And it says that the stars will fall like from a fig tree. And here we're having this being spotted all over the world. And then natural disasters are starting to occur a little bit. There was a flood or what have you in Japan, which isn't surprising since Japan is only at least 2.5% in Catholic or Christianity over there. Pretty much they're either worshipping demons or false gods, which is very hilarious. And what I want to point out there is that with the false gods in America today is that we're in the 7-year shemetiah. And if you don't know what the shemetiah is, it pretty much proves the existence of God, whether you like it or not. If you're an atheist and with the supported evidence that's been shown under the shemetiah, I gotta say you're pretty blind. Personally, right now, I believe you should take off the blindfolds. See the light from the darkness. Take out the earplugs and hear the truth and not the lies. That's what I really think you should do. One of Satan's most potent weapons is proving that he's not real or God's not real. Jesus said that he's a murderer for taking the truth away. And, well, what's he doing with atheism? It's a potent evil. Many will speculate that science is this, and I will say to them, the only God in your life is science, not God himself. The only God you have is science. And, well, if I have the question to ask you, everything has a creator. Something created the universe. For an example, if I were to create a document, I would have to create it. I'd be the creator, right? Time and space can't exist until upon creation of the universe, aka the Big Bang. Stephen Hawking came out with this in the 1960s or 70s, saying that. And then he's one of the biggest atheists. And, well, then I could turn his own statements back around, but the shemetiah and what's ending up crossing the two intervals between the end of the world and the shemetiah. Obviously, it's a judgment, and each 7 years has been a judgment on America, because they've been pushing God out of their lives, or shall I say, their nations, or philosophy, ideologies, and laws, in their own economy, as we have same-sex marriage, which is against God, and we have abortion. Look what happened to Israel when they did abortion in the Bible. God judged them with the shemetiah. Look what happened to America. We had 9/11. That was a shemetiah year. And when 9/11 happened, a tree fell over. What was that tree? It was a sycamore tree. And each and every time an event has happened, each president or representative has said the same thing that Isaiah said. He said that the bricks have fallen, let us rebuild greater than before, noting that you can see clearly that they're not putting God in the equation whatsoever. Which is sad because Jonathan Kahn, if go over there, check out his YouTube about the shemetiah. It's proven. It's after every 7 years. We had the financial collapse, and after that we had a stock market crash. Each of them's happened in a 7-year cycle, aka a shemetiah year. since none of you know, I recommend you looking up the Shemitah and the Nephilim. It's proving that God is very real. Many of you say, well, there are many planets out there. There's got to be some life. If God is real, He would have told us that there is another life in here, in this universe, but there isn't. It says, for behold, the earth is a sphere, and the heavens are always expanding. What do we get from that? Well, outer space is always expanding. It says that pretty clearly in the Bible. There were no telescopes back then, so how could somebody know that without some kind of divine person telling them that? Many of you say it's aliens, but then again, go look up Nephilim. Falls under the category of aliens. So therefore, aliens do not exist. They don't. There's no third kind. The guy who originally claimed when there was an experience of a third kind, he said that this is not the experience of a ET or of a third kind, but more of a demonic experience above all. And there was once a guy in a cult, or should I say a satanic occult, where he said, these things are lying to me. They are not angels, but should I say fallen angels or demons. Many of you think that God is real. So should Jesus. But then we have Judaism and people saying that Jesus is not real. Well, if God is real, then Jesus is real. Then angels are real. Demons are real. And Satan or Lucifer or what have you is obviously real. We have atheism. Obviously, they want to point out to God, but we have theists or theology or what have you right there. They can prove it. Atheist Albert Einstein once said, God does not play dice or chance with the universe and everything in it. And what he's saying, the Big Bang Theory, that it all happened by chance. When the smartest scientist in the entire world that ever lived said that, but you still have atheists. I don't know what to tell you, folks. That's obviously some kind of delusion. Personally, atheists have to be somehow influenced by the devil. I mean, look at Stephen Hawking. Look what happened to that guy. And then he wonders what happened to him. Well, it's obviously some kind of punishment. But, sympathies for what's happened to him. Now, lining up the Shemitah and the end time prophecies that have been catching a lot of people's attention over the past year and months that have yet to come, or should I say have come, and have passed. Lining up these two, it says in the book of Revelations that the moon will be dyed as sackcloth and will be dyed as red, like blood. And then when you look at it, this is the only blood moon we're going to have after 300, 400, or 500 years, or whatever the year is. So that makes you think that, well, if that's true, then, well shit, I don't know what's going to happen in that time. Something's got to happen within that time. Whether it's the end of the world, obviously the Shemitah is going to happen. Jonathan Cahn is a brilliant man. Some even call him an American prophet. Personally, I believe he is a prophet of some kind. His books have sold at an unimaginable rate. UN representatives have called him back to speak. But yet, people do not listen, for they are deaf and blind to hear the truth and to see the truth. The Shemitah, well, there's going to be some kind of judgment in September, and that judgment could yet bring hold to the end of the world, or World War III, or the Armageddon. The last world war we will know is probably between Satan and God, or Jesus. Between Michael and Satan as well. That's the only war we'll ever have, people. There's not going to be another World War III. If skeptics see this and they fail to see it, well, just look up everything I told you to see in the video. Evidence will start piling up and piling up. And then you say you have science. Okay, well, that doesn't prove one damn thing. I mean, if science can prove God is real, then science is God. God created everything. So obviously he used it. For example, when we get the equation of what gravity is, we write it out with the equation of what it is, some numbers and letters. Okay, well, there's the equation. What does it do? It does nothing. Now, let's say God does it. Okay, he says this and that. Okay, there we have it. Boom, there's some gravity. Boom, there's some time, space, dimension, what have you. I'm going to clear up everything in this video. Many of you wonder what heaven and hell is. Where are they? Well, it's pretty obvious we can't reach out, touch them, smell them, look at it, unless we die. Well, okay, well, that's obvious. People have to die in order to see it. That's more obvious than ever. So obviously, if we look at angels or God, it'd be first dimensional beings. Hell would be second dimension, and us humans would be third dimensional beings. Many people said that. Obviously, heaven and hell are dimensions. Personally, that much is true. So, back to the blood moon prophecies. Some rabbi said that the world was going to end, or that Jesus was going to come back and the Antichrist was going to come back in 9/9/2015. That never happened. To be honest, I didn't think it was going to happen. You just said it was going to happen. And then, basically, no man knoweth the day nor the hour. But saying that makes you think that this blood moon, the one that we'll probably ever have, may just be the end when the sixth seal is open. I mean, you're saying that's going to happen in 2022, 2025. Well, looking at that 7-year tribulation after the end of the world, or when Jesus comes back to reign, and that meteorite comes to strike Earth and destroys it, that could be the end of the world, like it was said in the Bible. Or, some new world would happen. Well, that could fall up under that. But seeing all these signs and natural disasters, in the book of Revelation, in the Bible, it says, "Lo, the sixth seal was opened, and the moon was turned blood red like sackcloth of hair. And there was a great earthquake." Now, the reason why I'm going to bring up this earthquake is, well, if we look at Yellowstone, back then, if you haven't learned this, there was a great disaster in that there's some kind of gas covering the earth. I'm not really going to go into it, but it was proven that this happened, if you look it up. Now, if this earthquake were to happen, think of what would happen over in Yellowstone. That thing's going to erupt, and that's going to cover the entire world. This probably explains why it says that the sun will not show. That could fall under that biblical reference right there. Saying that, well, that makes you think an awful lot about that. If an earthquake is going to happen, well, what do we say about that? Well, after the earthquake, and between that and the judgment, Jesus will come back. His feet will not touch the ground. He will not be walking around anywhere. He comes back to rapture his children. Well, okay, so when that happens, the end of the world happens, I'm going to say this. When aliens come back, or they're saying we're going to save you, they're fallen angels disguising themselves. And it's said that they can disguise themselves as anything, maybe even tampons. I have no damn idea. But it'd be pretty funny if they did. But when we're looking at this, we're seeing that any false prophet or false Jesus Christ to arise is that false. It's said in the Bible what will happen in that time. It says that God will give us signs, and yet we're seeing all of these signs lining up. Stars falling all over the place. This man in this city here in America somewhere saw a meteorite falling out of the sky. Stars, and then you have all these places all over the world happening with asteroids or stars or what have you. Well, that's one of the signs, isn't it? Then we're having the blood moon. It's going to be the biggest one that we have that just popped up out of nowhere. Well, that's another sign. And then we have all these natural disasters happening. Personally, that sounds like another sign to me. And the shemetiah, the judgment upon America and the entire world, is another sign. And with that judgment, it will bring the final judgment when Jesus Christ comes back. The Son of Man, the Son of God. For many of you, those who don't believe, well, I tell you should start believing. There's lots of signs lining up here. But looking out of this equation, I don't know if it will truly happen or not, but there is a lot of stuff lining up that looks like it's going to happen. No man knoweth the day nor the hour, but if you look at the blood moon, obviously it's going to happen at night. Nobody knows when exactly it's going to happen at night, nor the hour. Well, I think that's where you have it. This could lead on to 12 to 1 o'clock. So nobody knows when this is going to happen. That could fall under no man knoweth the day nor the hour. I don't know what to tell you there. That looks like one of the last signs it'll give you. To the people that keeps pointing out that there is not going to be the end of the world. Atheist. I've given you a lot of proof so far. I know a lot of it's misguided and sounds kind of stupid. But, it's true. Just go look up everything I told you. It'll fall up under it. And with that, I'm going to conclude this video. Amen, and peace be with you all. In the name of God and Jesus Christ. Amen.